Hi everyone, Drini here, and welcome to my channel. So if you've been following me on Twitter or if you've been watching some of my other videos in the past, you would know that I have three main crypto investments when it comes to the space. Bitcoin, of course, gaming cryptos, of course, but the other major investment that I have is I have a massive stake in Cardano and its blossoming ecosystem. Among all of the layer 1 blockchains that I have looked at, and I have looked and I have tried everything, Cardano really is the most advanced blockchain out there. The best way to illustrate this is think of Ethereum as like Nokia during the smartphone era. Then you have the Motorola's, the Bosches of the world, which would be your other layer ones like your Solana and Avalanche. Cardano is pretty much the iPhone of blockchains. It is the Tesla of cars. It is the SpaceX of rocket companies. So let's dive into the charts just to see where we are and identify the potential opportunity of a lifetime to accumulate as much as we can. Because once the scaling improvements have been done in June, oh boy, this is gonna fly. And let's dive in. So I have the chart of Cardano on a weekly time frame, and if you notice, ever since its low of around 1.8 cents right here all the way to $3, Cardano has already blasted past everybody with an ROI of around 16,569%. So it is actually not surprising that ever since it has been on a downtrend because there's still a lot of people right here who are slowly profiting off of the highs that they've experienced right here. Another thing to note is this particular break right here where the downtrend started also coincides with the smart contract launch in Cardano. So from a fundamental standpoint, what's actually been happening here is you have all these dApps coming online with Cardano. They need to maintain their systems. They need to pay their staff. They need to pay their developers. They need to pay whatever infrastructure that they can. And the way they have been doing that is through ADA. So this is actually partly also caused by projects having to maintain their staff. So they have to sell some ADA in order to do so. The ADA price action is very similar to Ethereum because when Ethereum first started, of course, it had its initial hype, but eventually it also fell by around 70%-ish right here. And the reason for that downturn was quite simple. Once people started building on Ethereum, once they started to get the hang of smart contracts, they needed to sell off most of their Ethereum in order to fund those particular projects. And once people started to realize that in 2017, this was the future of cryptos, then you saw Ethereum blast off. We are having that same behavior for Cardano right here. Now, the unfortunate thing about this particular downtrend right here is it also coincides with the crypto capitulation and the crypto bear markets. So right now, what I'm looking at is if we lay down a reverse Fibonacci, where this is the one right here, and why is this the one? That is because this is the closing candle that confirmed the break in our EMA structure right here. So if this is the 1 and this is the 0, where the 0 is an all-time high of around $3, what we are seeing here is we are seeing an adherence to a reverse Fibonacci structure, where the price action was pretty much adhering to this structure, for example. So the 786 and the 1, you had fat candles because they were filling up this chasm. Once you broke through the 1, for example, now you're filling up the 1 and the 1.272 chasm by having these candles right here. We eventually found support on the 1.414, but tried to rally up, but got rejected where? We got rejected back on the 1. And now, if you notice, we immediately filled up the chasm right here, consolidated for a bit, and we are following the gaps led by the Fibonacci structure. So right now, where are we? We are currently in the midst of going to this 1.618 extension right here of around 66 cents. This also coincides with this particular range right here. So this support level right here, for example, and this 1618 could be a potential bottom for Cardano moving forward. However, the likelihood of this is low because if you look to the left, this is actually not a strong support level because this is just green candle, green candle, green candle. Another thing to note, of course, is Bitcoin is due for an eventual capitulation to the downside. So this 1618 is not our destination actually. Instead, what you're looking at for Cardano is the extensions after the 1.618. So if we break through the 66 cents right here, we actually have a large chasm to fill up. Eventually, we have a 2.0 target of around 45 cents right here, or 46 cents. But eventually, I feel we will reach a destination of the 2.272 of around 35 cents right here. if this 35 cents coincides with the eventual Bitcoin capitulation to the downside, then we can properly establish that this could be the bottom structure. This also coincides with this particular region right here, where this was the swing high, swing low before the swing high again. So when it comes to downside targets, this is what I'm looking at for Cardano. You have a 46-cent range right here, and eventually a 35-cent range right here. But overall, whichever price level that Cardano blasts past when you have a Bitcoin capitulation, then that is definitely the downside target that we will observe. So moving forward for Cardano, the plan remains the same. So it's an accumulation of a cash position in order to prepare for that potential scenario. I already have a significant investment for Cardano. So this particular bag that I have, which was purchased multiple times during this particular period right here, that bag will not be touched because that's pretty much just the moon bag right there. At the end of the day, Cardano's upside is much greater than where the price levels are now. So this particular bag will just stay in place and just keep it there. It's being staked. I'm currently farming MinSwap and SundaeSwap for liquidity, etc., etc. So this bag doesn't change. However, what I'm looking at is I am looking for the Bitcoin capitulation and the downside targets that we have by preparing a cash position so that if ADA eventually capitulates to the downside, then that would be the accumulation range of a lifetime, where once you have that price range for ADA and the bull market comes back, then expect that that is probably the last investment that you're going to have in order to achieve your financial freedom. Yo, before you go, like this video, subscribe, and share this video to your friends. Thank you very much and have a good day.